Greetings, Earthlings. This is Roseanne, the show where two bros discuss a show
Roseanne.
one episode at a time. My name is Zach Zichter.
This is Jay Warren.
Welcome to the world of tomorrow. Hi, Jay.
The world of tomorrow, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And that means...
Well, it means that we've reached episode 7. And you know what 7 is?
Lucky number 7.
Right, lucky number 7. Uh-huh.
And
you know why 6 is afraid of 7? Because 7 ate its food in the refrigerator when it was clearly marked.
that's why 6 is right. So 6's food was 8 and 9? Or 9?
Right. No, 9.
Yeah.
It was 9. It was clearly marked 9.
Is that a 69 joke?
Maybe. Actually, 6 was mad because 9 is 6 upside down, and that's... he ate 9 in the refrigerator, and it was on one of those, like, styrofoam lids, and it was flipped up, so it looked like a 9, but it was actually a 6, and 6 was pissed.
Yeah. 7 was just trying to piss off 9, really.
Well, he thought it was 9,
Mm-hmm.
but it was actually 6. That's why 6 is not afraid, but pissed.
Pissed.
Right. But it's our 7th episode.
It is our 7th episode.
7-11, 7 heaven, 7-minute abs, right?
7 minute abs.
So it's...
Not 7. 7 is the magic number.
What if people come up with 6-minute abs?
No! 7. 7's the magic number.
Let me step into my office. You're fired. So this episode of Roseanne is called The Memory Game.
Mm-hmm.
The Memory Game. What do you remember about this?
Well, they're going to get a family photo together.
Family photos.
Mm-hmm.
I remember those.
That was the big thing. Now, well, we'll talk about when it comes up. We'll talk about later in the episode.
Right.
Yeah, because...
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do a little synopsis. According to Wikipedia, Dan and Roseanne receive a notice in the mail announcing their 15th high school reunion. Dan's enthusiastic plan to take photographs for the high school reunion yearbook exposes a 15-year-old secret. A secret. He is kept from Roseanne.
Do they, like, 15-year reunions?
I don't think they happen.
Yeah. I think the 5-year reunions, we had a 10-year reunion. I didn't go to it.
Mm-hmm.
And this next year would actually be our 15th reunion, which I wouldn't go to either. But
Yeah.
Did you go to your 10?
No, I didn't. I didn't go to 5, 10, and I guess 20 will probably come up eventually.
Yeah.
I might go to that. Who knows?
I might go to the 20th. I don't know. Like, I don't have the same fondness for high school.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was things I liked about it, like not paying rent. That was awesome.
Sure.
That was the one thing I liked about it. But I didn't. I like debate tournaments. Like, I was on the debate team. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. What'd you debate?
There was like a certain category that you were given each year. I can't even remember any of them.
Litter boxes. For it, against it. No preference.
I'm no preference 'cause I don't have a cat.
Right.
But if you want to have one, you should be able to have a litter box. Yeah.
That's an interesting position that you take.
Is it? What position do you take?
I take the position that you have a weak position, and that you need to
Commit
to your position.
Well, you commit to a position. What do you think? Litter boxes, yes or no?
I think litter boxes collect smell. I think cats should just be killed.
You don't like cats, huh?
I'm okay with cats. I had a cat once.
You had a cat once. What was your cat's name?
Belle.
Belle. When did you have this cat?
Back in maybe 06, 07.
Really? You had a cat back then? We would have known each other by that point.
That's 623 2nd Street. I was at a house that doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not when you were living on 2nd?
On 2nd Street South, yeah.
That's where you're living?
Yeah.
I was over at that house. You must have had that cat.
For a while, and then I think we ended up taking it to my parents' farm.
Mm-hmm.
I kept taking it to the vet, and every time it would just lose trust. It would just get so mad getting into the carrier. So mad.
Belle, huh?
Yeah. Belle wasn't declawed. She was so mad.
We had a cat growing up, and his name was Classy.
Classy? Come home.
Because he was a silver classic tabby.
Mm.
And that cat was fucking mean. We picked on that cat a lot because he grew up with 3 boys, and that thing would go from like being so cuddly and nice to you, and next thing you know, all of a sudden just yeah. Yeah. And then we got Snoopy, my dog Snoopy, and that dog was friends with that cat, but that cat was not friends with that dog.
We had a dog, Pepsi, and we just had a lot of cats on the farm. They were never indoor cats; they were outdoor cats. But oftentimes the tomcat would fight. You usually only ended up with one adult tomcat because he tried to
killed the other ones.
Killed the other ones, yeah. So there'd be a lot of fights because they wouldn't really kill the younger male cats, but then when they got to age and started to, mess with the harem. But Pepsi would get in between them and try to break them up.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, no, we're all friends here.
This is a friendly farm.
Let's go talk to Charlotte and see what what she thinks or whatever. Talk to Babe, the blue ox pig, whatever.
So, like, were they just cats that just ended up hanging out? Like, did you actually go out and seek these cats, or did they just start hanging out?
Honestly, I don't know. At some point, I'm sure we probably got a cat, and then, cats breed.
Mm-hmm. They
and
do.
Then they multiply with water. You pour water on them, and boom.
What kind of dog was Pepsi?
Pepsi was a German Shepherd.
Oh, so it was a big dog.
Pretty medium to big dog, yeah.
Yeah. So when you broke up a fight, cats listened.
They seem to like each other.
Yeah. You're just like, hey, we don't fight here.
I don't know if he said that. He was more like, rah, 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 rah. Something like that. Wait, oh crap! You finally got me to bark on on a podcast.
So tell me more about Pepsi.
More about Pepsi. Oh, do you want to know the sad stuff or the happy stuff?
Both.
The happy stuff is that it was a stray dog. Pepsi was a stray dog that came to us right at the time a previous dog had passed away, and Pepsi was awesome. She herded dogs, not dogs, but sheep rather. Mm-hmm. She herded sheep. She was just friendly, super nice. Mm-hmm. The sad thing was she got into some fly bait and was really, really sick. Was laying someplace, and then my dad accidentally ran over her with he didn't try to. I mean, it just happened. She just didn't have the energy to move, which was a bummer. So she passed away.
Snoopy, our dog, passed away from getting into rat poison. It was the long kill, though. Like he would survive the initial, but it gave him prostate cancer.
Oh.
And then maybe a few months later, we had to put him down. And Classy, we lived outside the edge of town, and Classy was an outside cat, so he could go anywhere, and he'd come back in,
Yeah.
But we lived in front of this field, and one day they were mowing the field, and he was out there, and they ran over him. But
that's too bad.
Yeah.
Did Roseanne and her family have any pets?
No, they never had. They have. There's like later in the season they have like, I want to say hamsters or guinea pigs.
Okay.
Like Becky takes care of them.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
But they never there's only like a few references to them.
Because it seems like that type of family would be perfect for a dog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or a dog would be perfect for that
somebody's always home.
Yeah.
Like I want to have a dog, but like I'm never home is the thing. Mm-hmm. I don't want to leave the dog there by himself in an apartment for 5 hours.
Right. Yeah, it's a responsibility.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's more important than kids, but it's more important than kids. But send your hate mail to Jay Warren. What's your address? But anyway, I don't remember what are they talking about in this scene. There's the women at work. Are they just talking about the family photo? Or are they talking about the reunion?
I think they're talking about the reunion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Like, I think if I would have stayed in Spearfish.
Mm-hmm.
I would totally attend my high school reunions, but when you leave town,
and
there's really no reason to go back to town to begin with. Like my parents don't live there anymore.
Yeah,
there's not a reason for a reunion, but I think if you stay in town, then the reunion's kind of exciting. You get to see everybody again.
Sure, I think there's a element of fear for me. Not this is just social situations in general. When you know something's about to happen, it's not fear necessarily, just anxiety. Like, no, they're going to say this, they're going to ask that question. And unless you have all those answers, that's just probably an anxiety thing in general.
Mm-hmm.
But, so, because they have this reunion, they decided to do a family photo.
Yep.
What were? Do you have any experiences taking family photos?
A little bit. There was like we'd take them for like I remember there was one time that we had like an actual photographer come to our house.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it was always like for the church directory or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you have like laser backgrounds? Like 1980s, like awesome.
Wasn't the laser background, but it was that kind of like gray, like
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about.
No, I know absolutely what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's like a weird blended pattern. Could almost be like fatigue.
Yeah, like a battle fatigue,
Yeah.
which is exactly what you want in the back of your family photo.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that's interesting. You put it that way. That is exactly what it is. I'm like, I wonder what dumbass thought this is a good idea, and everybody just rolled with it. Like,
There's plenty of different versions, plenty of different color versions, but that's not what the Connors are going with. The Connors are going with their fireplace.
Yep.
And they're also putting a trophy there. What was that trophy? Did I miss something?
I don't know. It's I don't know if it's Dan's trophy or her trophy because they both played. I want to say it's almost her trophy.
Okay, because Darlene does play baseball,
Yeah, she does play
softball,
baseball.
or whatever it is. Yeah.
Well, she also plays basketball too, which they don't allude to a lot in season 1.
So she's the sporty one.
Yeah, she's the sporty one, but Dan, I'm not. That's the thing they never say, but Darlene's just like this trophy looked great right here, and I mean, I guess it is good for like. Why would Dan care whose trophy it is? Really, like he's just like, oh yeah, we have a trophy, like for whatever.
And what is on the wall? There's brick, a fake brick, or fake stone.
And there's some sort of eagle thing.
Is that an eagle? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing I noticed is they're setting up for their shot. There is a big chair right in front of them. So either they're gonna do a side, shot from waist up, or they're just gonna have a chair. And a lot of those old family photos had full body shots, or at least down to the knee or whatever.
I want to say ours was full body. I wish I'll have to take a look at it when I go back home to next couple weeks. I'm not even sure where it's at. I haven't seen that photo forever. I was like 13 with braces when we took it.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's always funny. At least one kid is, in a situation where it's not perfect for a photo op.
You just see awkward thrown all over him. See now, okay, so now you see her hair, Jackie's hair again. Now it's back to that kind of fro thing.
Poofy, yeah. I think I think they shot it all out of order.
Yeah, I don't think any of it's in order, no.
Yeah. So as we were talking about, maybe in the first or 2-second episode, they probably shot the pilot, and then they took a little time. They knew they were picked up, and then shot everything else out of order.
Mm-hmm.
So as they're setting up for their family photo, you see everyone in their, I guess would be the equivalent of their Sunday's best.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Roseanne comes out in what I would only describe as like a tarp.
It's a tarp. Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk about style for a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a weird mixture of pink, not quite pink, like a reddish pink.
Yeah.
A hot pink and a blue.
Like a darker teal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is a weird combination color.
But they loved it though. They said that she was really fancy.
Mm-hmm.
And that definitely spoke to the style of the time, because I don't know. Is it almost like poncho-esque?
It is. It's a weird, I think it's two separate things. I think there's a jacket that goes over her dress.
Yeah, I think you're right. But what kind of necklace is that? Is that some sort of feathers?
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, the rest of the kids, nothing's abnormal about the kids.
No, pretty normal.
Yeah.
Darlene's wearing some hipster glasses, or glasses that would be considered hipster today.
Yeah, I'm sure those were just sunglasses back then. I don't know.
Dan has a belt that has studs on it.
Does he? I didn't notice his belt.
Yeah, I mean, not that I look in that region of his body.
Now, do you think that's a clip-on tie or a normal tie?
I bet it's normal, because she made him put on a normal tie for just a night out of the town. You can see it. It's definitely a real tie.
Do you think he's wearing a clip-on? Do you think DJ's wearing a clip-on?
I don't know.
I remember when I was probably the same age as DJ is here, I had a clip-on tie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a little suit that you wore as a kid?
I don't know. I know I wore ties, but I don't think I had a suit coat.
Were they clip-on ties or actual ties?
Clip-on ties for a certain amount of time, and then I I'm sure by the time I was 10 or 12, then it was regular ties.
Yeah, but you don't know how to tie a tie now. Didn't you say that earlier? You didn't know how to tie a tie.
This podcast doesn't necessarily have continuity.
Uh-huh.
We'll work on story arcs in season 4.
Yeah, I can teach you how to tie a tie though.
I know how to tie a tie.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I don't want to sound like
You sound
protective.
You sound mad.
I'm not mad.
You're
I'm not mad.
okay.
So
All right.
continuing our conversation about style for a while, Jackie's shirt is nothing short of
Weird.
Atari-esque.
Yeah.
There's weird
there's
symbols.
Yeah, there's like some. Do you think that's like some sort of Illuminati
Could
signal?
Because on her arm it says 1% and then like a triangle. I mean, if in physics it would be like delta, the
Yeah.
change of. I'm not sure what these symbols are on her I guess the chest of the
Yeah.
shirt. And she's also wearing shoulder pads, which is awesome.
Yeah, that was a '80s thing. Shoulder pads.
Did you ever wear shoulder pads? I think it was mostly a girl
It
thing.
was a women's. I did not wear shoulder pads.
Yeah. I mean, did you not play football?
No, I didn't play football. No.
See, some shoulder pads can be a guy thing, but
In football, yes, you're correct.
yeah,
They're not just typically.
right.
Yeah, we don't need to. You don't need to explain things like that to me.
No, oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
I just obvious things.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't know the obvious things.
That men only wear shoulder pads on football. You don't think?
They don't only wear shoulder pads in football. Other men like to dabble.
Name one.
I used to dabble.
You used to wear shoulder pads for fun.
No, I just didn't know one. I didn't know that this blazer was for girls. I didn't know.
Maybe it was unisex.
It had shoulder pads.
I mean, men obviously wear them other times, so maybe that was a unisex.
That could be.
What color was it?
It was kind of a navy blue.
Mm-hmm. With shoulder pads. And you saw that and you're like, that's for me. I want to wear that. That'll look good.
Hey, man. That's how I roll. So
Is that a real story?
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
Okay. All right.
So back to the episode. Dan and Roseanne are talking. Well, actually, even to preface this, the photographer is here, but they've just uncovered that secret we talked about earlier.
Mhm.
And what was that secret?
Well, it turns out that when they were still dating in high school, that Dan had they briefly broke up, and Dan had seen somebody else.
And not just seen someone,
He slept with the girl.
right? But it meant nothing.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing, and maybe somebody else can give us. Zeke didn't marry his high school.
Zach is my name.
Zach didn't marry his high school sweetheart, and neither did I. But Zach and I are both like, is it really that big of a deal that he slept with somebody?
While they were broken up.
Yeah. And that he didn't ever tell her about it. I would see it, especially as an adult now, that like even if that did happen, I'd be like, you know what? We were kids. It happened 15 fucking years ago. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, I guess it'd be one of those things where if you were dumb, because Roseanne dumped him.
Yep. They
And then
were
he-
broken up very briefly.
They were broken up, but to him, he's like, "Oh, we're broken up."
Yeah.
And then he went out, and you could call it a mistake, and I'm sure it was. He probably wouldn't want to move that fast, especially if he wanted to, because no one wants to rebound like that. But when she decides to take him back, is the first thing you're going to do is jeopardize.
Getting back to
Yeah.
you. Well, and also I think it didn't help that it was with the girl that Roseanne can't stand. Like she makes reference to Phyllis that like she can't stand her.
Yeah.
And also like that's the other thing that's interesting is they hold grudges against people they still went to high school with. And there are people I didn't get along good with in high school, but like if I saw them now, I wouldn't lord that over them or like
No, and I don't think I ever really had any grudges against anybody in high school. But even the people that I was like, they're not for me. They're not my type of people. As I've grown up and gotten older, the more and more I'm just like, hey, you might have felt that way about those people because, in a sense, you were like siblings.
Yeah.
Because you're in a small town, and I don't know what your class size was. But they were like all my brothers and sisters because I was with them every frickin' day.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, but they're all decent people. Anyway,
Is there anybody that you're still good friends with from high school?
good friends with. There's people that I like and would hang out with for sure, but none that I actually do, just because I'm not around.
No.
But there's people that I would hang out with.
Okay.
That's why I'm open to a reunion, but it just I guess we'll see.
There's like maybe 2 or 3 people that I still talk to. There's people that I would still talk to if they were in town or I was in wherever they're at. My friend Jarrett, he came back and visited. He randomly came up here. His dad lives in White now, so he came to visit his dad, and he stopped in Brookings, randomly visited me at work one day. And then the next day went out and ate at Wooden Legs, which is a awesome local pub. But yeah, that's like one person I wish I talked to more, but time.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's, we're nearing the end of this episode. They had their secret, and she was pretty upset, even though it was 15 years later. Let's play the what if game.
Okay.
What if you found out that I had podcasted with someone else 15 years ago? What then?
Well, that'd be 2001. I would still be in high school, and podcasting wasn't even a thing.
Oh, I don't know.
But if it was...
There was MP3 players back then.
There was MP3 players. I'd be like, that's cool. Can I listen to one?
And I'd be like, dude, don't get jealous.
But I'm not jealous. I'm like, that's awesome. I want to hear one.
Oh.
I want to hear young Zeke talk about life.
Right. So what you're saying is you'd be pretty angry.
That's not what I'm saying.
I think you need to learn the lesson of this episode, which is...
You had a podcast 15 years ago.
That's not the... No,
who did you have this podcast with?
I didn't. Actually, we had a radio show.
You did?
No, I didn't have a radio show, but a few...
No, you did with Derek.
I did with Derek in about 2005. We called it Local Undies, where we played some local underground music and, just chatted in between songs. But prior to that, I lived in Sioux Falls right out of high school while you were finishing up high school. No, I didn't know you at the time, but just to put that time frame into context. There was some friends of mine that were going to USF in Sioux Falls, and they had a radio show.
Okay.
So me and some of my roommates would go over there, and we would call in. They'd have like a phone right outside the booth, and we would call in and do some fun radio shenanigans. So that was fun. In a sense, we would do that every week. It was kind of like a podcast.
Okay.
Put it on the radio. So not at all like a podcast.
You and I have tried podcasting before.
That's true.
We used to have... we didn't have a name for it. It was just the Sponge Migration Podcast. Was that the name of it?
I think so, yeah.
We had like 4 episodes, which I don't know what happened to them. But.
Yeah, they're probably buried on one of these hard drives. But I think the biggest issue there was that, we tried to edit them and, chop them down to, all the good bits. But I think we all realized that there's no good bits. There's just
bits.
There's just bits. It's true.
And we also did a video one. When we were making Worst Kind of People.
That was kind of fun. We did 4 episodes.
Yep.
Yeah, you can actually see that online on Vimeo if you look up Worst Kind of Podcast.
And this is now our longest running podcast. This is 7 episodes.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. I was going to say we're only at 24 minutes.
But as we get to the tail end of this episode, Dan and Roseanne are making up.
Finally.
Yeah. I don't know if a listener out there could provide us with different insight as to why she got so mad about it. Because, like, I once again, I haven't been in a relationship that's lasted 15 years, but I imagine there's just got a point where you're just like, why be pissed about something that happened 15 years ago?
It's true, but on the other hand, just to look at it from the other perspective, 15 years might seem like a long time. But when you're married, I just had my anniversary, and I'm at 6 years.
You are at 6 years. Happy anniversary, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. But that, as long as as much as it feels like, boy, I've been married, it'd be weird not to feel like I was married. It doesn't. At the same time, it feels like it was yesterday when I got married. So 15 years, I realize, is more than that, but it's not a ton more than that.
No.
So. It's probably still fresh. They're mid-30s. They're our age. So their 18-year-old shenanigans are probably still somewhat fresh in their brain. And, if they don't have a lot going on, what else can they I don't know. It's something. It would be something that would at least put you in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Maybe not like I'm not gonna hold it against you.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not gonna be the worst. I'm not gonna. There's no threat of divorce.
Yeah.
Although they did talk about that. Like, are we gonna?
There was a joke about
divorce. Yeah. Which is a recurring theme. But I think people would have the right to be upset for a little while.
Yeah. Well, listeners, you tell us what you think.
Right. Tell Jay what you think.
Us, both of us.
Okay. Sure. So that was. I mean, is that our debrief? We're just not really sure. We don't really know.
I don't really know what to make of that episode. And like once again, like I haven't been in like a relationship that long, so maybe I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. You don't get it.
I have been in relationships where I have kept secrets about my past from somebody else, and they were not appreciative of it.
I don't appreciate it. Tell me your secrets, all of them, the deepest, darkest.
No, you don't want to hear about stuff like that. These people don't want to hear about that.
I'm sorry, Jay. I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to
cause me any sorrow.
Yeah. But tonight, I'm cleaning out my closet.
Oh, this is Eminem. I was thinking Prince.
Oh, sorry.
The better musician.
I know, but I didn't know that song. Sorry.
You never heard the song Purple Rain?
Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Yes. So, what do you? Any more family picture experiences? I mean, we talked about the one side of it is the deep dark secret, but the other side is the family pictures. I think I want to say a lot of pictures, and I'll just say pictures in general, not necessarily family pictures. How about school pictures? Do you have any experiences there?
I stopped taking school pictures. Probably we stopped like getting the official package when I was like in 8th grade.
Okay.
I was the last kid, so my parents just
gave up.
They stopped caring about stuff like that.
So you were always the kid that says not pictured.
But they would take one for your photo ID,
and
that'd be the picture that was included.
Okay.
And then my senior year, I submitted what I thought was my picture of the yearbook, but apparently it's just like the staff just has a wallboard of people's senior pictures. And I was just like, why do you fucking need that? Like, I thought I was submitting to the yearbook when I gave that to you, and I don't know, but like even after a few years after I graduated high school, one of my friends found my senior picture in my room. Like I had like one of those little wallet ones in there.
Yeah.
And she found it, and she's just like, "This looks nothing like you."
How did you look different?
I don't know. She never told me.
I think the lighting on those were, maybe not flattering.
Yeah. The guy that did my pictures was a photographer out of Sundance, which is maybe like 40 minutes away from Spearfish.
Okay.
And I don't know, I don't know what happened, but my dad called him one day and chewed him out because he thought that like instead of just like getting like at that point, my other brother graduated in like 97. So in that like 5-year span, there's a bunch of different things you could get when you got graduate photos, and like this guy was trying to get my dad to buy all this extra stuff, and my dad just was not having it. And my dad's like me, especially with people he doesn't know. It takes a long time for him to get pissed, but especially if you're a stranger and you piss my dad off, like I would not want to be on the receiving end of that. Like he gets angry, and that's what happened. One day he just called him up and chewed him out. Yeah.
Well, don't give him my number.
Too late.
No.
So what about your? I'd like to see a Zeke senior photo.
Senior photo, huh? For a senior photo, I think I went over to Flandreau, and at that time, I was coming to grips with hair loss, just thin hair. Like as a young kid, I had a very thick red hair, and then after a while, it's like you get into like junior year, and it's not like it's still the same way it was in high school. It's just a thin red hair. And so I'm like, I'm going to start buzzing my hair. So I buzzed my hair, and I think I wore like a long sleeve green sweater. I don't know. It's kind of goofy. Yeah. We did like a very simple package over in Flandreau for a photographer.
there was like maybe 5 different locations that we shot at.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a studio shot, and there was like the back alley shot where I'm being a street tough.
Right. Here's one by a tree and a fence, and it's so cliche.
Yeah, I should. Oh man, I won't. When I go home, maybe I can find them. That's what we should do. Is we should bring our senior photos in. We'll put one up on our
Nice.
Facebook page for people to admire.
Actually, that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can't find one.
I know, like in grade school, like depending on the year, sometimes I would have a cold sore, or you just always get nervous. You know, I hated when you would finally get the wallet size photos. Like, so awful.
No.
And it'd be one thing. Maybe I wouldn't care so much if I was an only child, or because now I don't give a darn. But having like 9 brothers and sisters, it's 9 times over. You're like, oh, this one thing that's wrong with the photo. Let me talk about that for weeks on end.
What's wrong with your eye in this one? Why did you pick this one?
Look at that chin.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not symmetrical.
Yeah. Why didn't you tuck your shirt in?
Why do you have a swastika on your forehead?
What was that last one?
What?
Thought I heard you say something about having a swastika on your forehead.
You had a Jay, I know you've gone through phases, but it's bad.
You said that you had a swastika on your forehead.
No, I did not say that.
That's what I heard.
Right. So what would you rate this episode, the memory game, on a scale of 1 to 10 awkward family photos?
Probably a 7. I mean, it's good enough.
Okay.
It just like I wouldn't see it even a 7. I'd say a 6. It's just like one I just don't really get. Once again, married people, give us insight. You're married, I'm not.
Right. I don't know if I should share that. There's, how you mentioned maybe a podcast or two ago. There's certain things we don't necessarily want to share.
Yeah, we don't need to give all the.
You want to leave some things to mystery.
Mystery.
Okay, I would probably rate it a 6 out of 10. How should I rate it? 6 out of 10 weird quilts.
Weird quilts. You were talking about how the guy's composition was set up, and like what I even thought was weirder is that he didn't have any lights set up.
Yeah, and the only way he would be able to get a good shot without lights is if he had a long exposure. He took a long exposure, but that would be bad because you've got kids, DJ. That would require the kid to hold his pose for a certain amount of time. Long exposure would also mean a lack of sharpness. The other option would be to have a high ISO, but that would introduce grain into the picture. And a third option would be to have a wide aperture. But because you have 2 rows of people with a wide aperture, someone would be slightly out of focus.
Yeah, and well,
he might have had a flash though.
You could have a flash, but even a flash wouldn't be good lighting.
No,
it would wash out colors and shit.
Yeah, he would have to have some sort of diffuser, and maybe he did. Maybe he flashed it towards the ceiling and got a bounce. And
yeah, well, like sometimes people will put like a piece of paper over their flash to kind of like
diffuse it.
Yeah, our friend Brett does that a lot with his, like when he's camera, he's just taking shots. But even then, they're not like. Why would you pay someone to do that?
Yeah. Well, and if you have the flash on the camera, it's very even front lighting. It's not very flattering. But what he could have done is put the flash on a stand, maybe 3 feet to the side. So then that would give everyone kind of like a hot and cool side. So it would have been soft on one side and then a soft shadow on the other.
Like one of those big old tiny flashes where like you had to light some gunpowder.
No, not like that at all.
Oh no.
Although
like
speaking of that, have you ever seen The Great Race?
I haven't seen The Great Race.
It's got Tony Curtis, Jack Lemmon, and
I like Jack Lemmon.
Yeah. And can't remember the lady. She's awesome in it too. But they have she's a reporter for the Sentinel, and it's during the suffragette movement. And she decides that she's going to be a reporter and cover this race, and she's got a huge camera, and that requires gunpowder, even for daylight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, again, if it had a very small iris, it needed lots of light, and it makes this poof noise.
Everybody that just seems like everybody in their picture would be startled, like Like that's why no one's ever smiling in old timey photos. They're all just all startled. Like,
I don't know if they're all startled, but it takes everyone so long. It takes the photographer so long to set up that asking them to smile, they'd have to say cheese, and there'd have to be like 200 E's in that word.
I also, this is unrelated, but I want people not to worry about my health. Don't have acute emphysema. I'm just getting over a cold. We recorded about 7 episodes within about a week span. So don't worry. I'm getting better. Not going to die, at least not from emphysema.
Well, I would guess it has something to do with walking around naked all the time in your house.
It is lots of time naked spent in my house.
Because there's jars of peanut butter with like forks poking out. You just have to be careful. What is it with you and peanut butter, by the way?
Okay, I want to point out that was like 6 years ago, 7 years ago.
We're in your apartment now. The peanut butter is right over there.
We are in your office.
Right.
You're such a dick. There was a time, though, that it wasn't that particular instance. I just didn't have anything to put peanut butter on, but I did have peanut butter. I'm just like, I really want peanut butter. I don't know how much I want.
Who doesn't like peanut butter?
If you don't like peanut butter, you might as well get the hell out of the country.
It's true.
Yeah.
Maybe go to jail for a year.
For not liking peanut butter?
Right. If you don't like peanut butter, you don't like freedom.
Yeah. And if we know anything, it's freedom isn't free. It costs folks like you and me.
A heavy fee?
It's a heavy fucking fee. Yep.
I don't swear.
I've heard you swear before.
No, I've never swore. Anyway, maybe we could ask the audience to write in, comment in. Do you have a awkward family photo experience, or do you even have an awkward family photo that we can share on Facebook?
I feel like you, with such an expansive family,
expansive, yeah.
There's like a million of you,
right?
And you probably have a awkward family photo that you could share.
Every family photo is an awkward family photo.
I've met, if not all your siblings, most of your siblings.
Right.
And you guys all do this same voice that we just call the Richter voice. Like your friends and I call it the Richter voice.
And what voice is that?
It's, I want to say it's the impression of your dad. Can we get a little taste?
No.
Say welcome to the Roseanne podcast. Is your dad?
I don't know. I don't even think I haven't done that voice in years.
Oh man, it was funny. Like we were all hanging out one time, and I pointed it out to your siblings, and you all started doing it, and it all sounded the same. It was
it's something like this.
Yeah, a little bit like that. Yep.
Hey, they're going in. It's not so much words as it is like welcome to I don't know. Something like that.
That's fun.
Sure.
The Richter voice.
Well, it's always interesting when 9 or 10 people start doing that in unison.
Oh yeah, and it's a little weird that you all sound exactly alike too.
Well,
you've been practicing.
Yeah. Well, sometimes siblings have similar voices.
Yeah.
We don't all suffer from acute emphysema. Send us in your awkward family photos. Send us in your awkward family photo experiences. And let us know if you have any deep, dark secrets that you want to share with us.
And we can expose them.
Right. Jay's been spending this whole podcast exposing himself to me. So we can expose some of your secrets.
Flapping my genitals around.
Wow. You just didn't need to go there.
Just flapping my balls.
All right. So that's it. No, any final thoughts?
No final thoughts.
Okay.
We're running kind of long right now, so.
Fair enough. Well, just remember to check us out on iTunes. Give us a click on Facebook. Share us on SoundCloud.
We're setting up a Gmail account soon.
We have a Gmail account.
We do have a Gmail account.
Yeah. You can email us at bros.anne.podcast@gmail.com.
Oh, wow. So there's that, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Contact us.
Yep.
Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next week.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Peace.